Take it away, Poexel.
Wow, what a week. Everybody have a good time? Well, as Bob said, I'm Poexel. I co-founded RPG Limit Break way back in 2014, and I have the pleasure to currently serve as the overall event director, the business manager, and the games committee lead, among a few other hats. And as tradition, I'd just like to give some thanks and shout-outs to the huge number of people that all came together to help make this awesome event happen. So I'd just like to start by thanking Rob Wesseman and Michelle Vaughn from NAMI for being great charity partners, and this year too helping a lot with setup and teardown and transportation of our equipment. I'd like to thank Cool Maddie, Mike Uyama, and the staff of Games Done Quick for not only kind of inspiring the formation of our event, but giving us a lot of consultation and other help along the way. I'd like to thank the organizers for the Japanese and French restreams that helped bring our event to many new people around the world. I'd like to thank the Yeti for equipping us with event shirts, and then doing the general shirt promotion too, and generously donating part of the proceeds to NAMI for us. I'd like to thank the staff of the Doubletree Salt Lake City Airport for helping and putting up with us for all week. I'd like to thank all runners, commentators, and volunteers. I mean, RPG Limit Break is a completely volunteer staffed and run event. There's no way it would happen without all of the hands that pulled together to make this happen. I'd like to thank all prize donors for giving us so much cool swag to give people in return for some donations. I'd like to thank all of the chat mods and social media volunteers for helping us remotely. And then I'd just like to go through and thank our other staff members that all helped out. I guess first we've got our tech team, Heroic Spirit Gamer, our tech director, and the rest of the tech crew, Ashen Prime, Miria, Rizliu, The Sid, Hoishin, Takaze, and Freddy. Let's have a round of applause for our tech crew. Doing a 24-hour broadcast for a full week often has a lot of challenges, and we faced a new one this year in the form of the internet going out twice earlier in the week, and our tech team did a bang-up job in coming back from that strong. I'd like to thank our website developer, Jay Hobbs, our brand new tracker manager, Takaze. And let's see, then our volunteer coordinators, Bob the Ninja Goldfish, our overall volunteer director. And then the remaining directors that manage specific types of volunteers, Alec K47, Dowolf, Ghost Kumo, DJ Tifa Hart, Austin, Janot, Junkie JS, and Vonnie Von. Let's have a round of applause for all of the volunteer coordinators too. I'd like to thank the other members of the games committee that helped me out with, picking the schedule and keeping all of our incentives on track towards raising some nice donations. Those being High Spirits, Gyre, and El Magus. I'd like to thank our safety staff for just helping keep our event safe and in many ways for all of our attendees, Wells, Quistacular, and Grimora. I'd like to thank Fant, who's our venue logistics coordinator, Ghost Kumo, who's our community support person, our prize team, Ghoul02 and RP Priya, our primary artist who draw all the nice badges that we're wearing right now, banners and lots of other artwork, like our kind of newish mascot, Mimi, being LLK. Yeah, I'd like to thank our layout team, Oro and Hoishin, who kind of did the artwork and tech integration respectively. Hoishin in particular for coming all the way from Tokyo to help out our event and doing plenty of other stuff too, like helping coordinate with the three runners who did runs from us from Japan. Cutie Roo, who's our sponsorship coordinator. And then last but not least, our interview team, the overall interview coordinator, Ghoul02, and then Cutie Roo, Natara, Tiny Tim, Fant, and Vanivan. So let's have another round of applause for all of the staff members that of RPG Limit Break. All right, well, I think I'm ready to hand it off to Heroic Spirit Gamer.
All right, hello everyone. I said a few words last year as well, but as of this event, I'm officially now also the co-owner with Poexel, and I am the tech director, and well, there's a few more hats in there, but it's mostly just the tech director. First of all, are we glad to be back in full force? The energy this year felt resumed from 2019 and prior, finally. Last year was cautious, but I really felt like the community and family vibe that we've tried to cultivate here resumed in full force this year, and I'm really excited for that. I'm really glad that my new tradition of a giant plush prize is taking off. Admittedly, larger than even I expected, but that's okay. Look forward to next year. Puck's already mentioned it, but I do want to give special thanks to Ashton Prime. So Ashton Prime is my tech coordinator. He's more or less my backup, but also is the one who's meant to kind of manage my tech team while I'm more of like the integration between tech and everything else. But he is also, unbeknownst to even me prior to this week, really good with networking, which is a good thing because he was able to fix the hotel's own network system, which if it wasn't for that, I don't know how long we would have been down because the hotel themselves didn't really know how to fix it, evidently. So thank you very much, Ashton. I think the event might have been, I don't want to say it actually. So I didn't go into too much last year, but we really bulked up on staff. So for some of you who've been around for a long time, we used to have, in 2019, 11 staff members, and currently we have 28. And a lot of those were brought on last year, last minute. So a lot of it was very haphazard, and there was a lot of just, you're this role, what do you want to do? This event was not a full year, almost a full year of actually fleshing that out. What do we want to do? How did the event go? A lot more fluidness to it, and it really made it all come together in a much more coherent manner, which, quite frankly, was the first time in the years that I've been doing this with Limit Break that it was able to become that smooth. We were still very busy, good Lord, but I also want to once again thank the volunteers. I know that this year we struggled for numbers a little bit, and people really pulled through and came together. People who did work on shifts this year really did work shifts. I thank you very deeply for that. I know it's not ideal. I'm hoping to see that continue to grow and see us return to our pace of attendance and volunteers that we used to have, as well as while we're also keeping increasing the skill set, so we have more people to distribute, and so it's less of a burden for everyone involved, including ourselves. And my one final thing is something that I've been working on a little bit behind the scenes is we're hoping to start having more regular content on Limit Break. So sometime in the future, no promises, but please look forward to seeing content that's not just this week from us as the staff. We'll still have our community events, as we've been doing for years that Poexel runs, but We're hoping to start doing more things ourselves as regular content, so stay tuned for that. Thank you.
Speaking of Ashen,
Hi there. I'm Ashton Prime. You're all amazing. You're all amazing.
no, you're wonderful.
We have raised $78,300 currently for NAMI, and that's astounding. And breathtaking, I think, is the, yeah. I wanted to get up in a couple of different roles to give more additional shout-outs, more or less. As the local person here for the event, I get to deal with a lot of the logistics and helping out with this. And Poexel mentioned it a little bit earlier, the help we had from NAMI. But I specifically want to call out, they brought in a volunteer crew to actually bring all of our gear to the hotel, which is something we had done ourselves in years past. And when we did that last year, it nearly broke us all. And so them being willing to do it, to bring in all of the computers and the monitors and the soundboards, and also 50 CRT TVs. And these 4 people did it. That's Rob from NAMI, Michelle, Oliver, and Gage. Big special thanks to the 4 of them. And then also, I was the role coordinator for the audio volunteer techs. And for my department, we had few enough number that I want to give each and every one of them a special shout out, because we had about 50 runs in this event, and everything you heard for those 50 runs was one of these 10 people. So we have Heroic Spirit Gamer, the Sid, Dole Wolf for all of the overnight shifts. My goodness, man, without you, I don't know how we would have done it. Natara, Amberly, Alicel, PX Bakaya, Moonblaze Wolf, and even as a last-minute drop-in for somebody who needed a little bit of extra time, Jay Hobbs did come in behind the board and help us out there. So I wanted to give all of them a special shout-out for audio, because it's a lot of work, and a lot of them, it was their first time behind the board, and that thing's scary and complicated. And so big shout-outs to everybody from the audio team from me. I believe then that I'm going to turn it back over to Bob, and we're going to move on to other additional more fun things.
Yeah, well, fun might be an operative term. We're going to, at this point, hand it over to our interview team. Over there, we have Ghoul, Von Yvonne, and Cutie Roo standing by to take the reins at this point. Please note that we are moving into the testimonial area of our finale. While we are doing this thing in the interview area, we are giving people the option to leave the stream room at this point. We don't want anyone to feel trapped in here or have to listen to things that may affect your own mental health, because people will end up talking about things that will be affecting them. That's a warning for you as well, chat. Just be aware there will be some intense feelings here in the finale. So please bear with me, and we will pass you over to the interview crew.
All righty. So thank you, Bob, for the introduction. So anybody that hasn't watched a full limit break before, kind of want to give a little bit of context on what this is, and almost even kind of how it started. So as one of the few people that's been at literally every limit break, the first limit break, we did the normal outro that you do it, when you have a speedrun marathon. The head coordinators and all go out and say their things. And just kind of like organically, one person kind of went up afterwards and kind of shared, hey, this is why this cause meant something to me. And then from there, another person would go up and they would share their piece. And the next thing you know, there were literally, lots and lots of people that would go up and they would share how that went. And then the next year we did that, we kind of thought about, like, we really should do that again. That really was really powerful and did a lot, and it meant a lot to so many people, myself included. And we've done it every year since, and this is us continuing that tradition this year again.
It's so nice for people to have the opportunity to have what is. I don't think Vanny's on the mic.
Do we have to?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you sat me here for a reason, so.
Yeah, to sit
Anyway.
there and look pretty.
Oh, well, I mean, but I can do so much more.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I love the value of it being kind of like a cathartic release for people to have kind of this platform to talk about things that are difficult to talk about, that are uncomfortable to talk about, but to also have a forum where people will listen, where people will empathize with, and in some cases sympathize, which is what a good part of our community, with what they have to say, with what they're going through, and not a lot of communities can offer that. Not a lot of communities will give the opportunity and just kind of have just the general makeup to allow for something like that to happen. And that's one of the numerous things that I love about the community here at RPG Limit Break.
Yeah, and I think that sharing these testimonials that are going to be upcoming, that everybody is going to speak, I think just to kind of, I know some of the content might be, you know, a little bit real and we'll get emotional, but at the same time, it's coming from the heart. And I think that's important to recognize the bravery that it takes to even stand in front of an audience, to even come in front of a crowd and be able to speak your heart out, because sometimes it's just all you need is just to be aware, just to be heard, knowing that you're not alone. And so that's what is important about these testimonials, is that whether it is for because of the cause and what the cause does for them, or whether they show appreciation of, you know, this event or anything like that, just listening to anyone who has something to say and be there for them, and always just admire the fact that it takes a lot of that courage just to stand up here.
Yeah.
And so in that meantime, I think, are we all ready to do our little testimonials with everybody?
Okay, very good.
So let's throw it over to Tim to get our first testimonial up, if you don't mind, Tim.
Come on. Okay, thanks. Oh.
Can we get Tim turned up, please? The audience would like to hear our awesome Tim.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, if we could start with Hebbings, please. If you'd like to come up. Thank you very much.
I've been thinking about what to say all day since Bob made the announcement about this. First, I wanted to say thanks to everyone in this room. It's been a pleasure. I've been watching this stuff for years. And I do want to say that during one of the darkest points of my life, where I was homeless and jobless and ran off the road on a motorcycle and limbless for a while, there really was only like one person in my life taking care of me and looking out for me. And it's so taxing to go through that kind of experience with one person. I can't imagine what it's like to go through it alone. And so when I found out about Limit Break and what they were doing and the cause they were going for, I couldn't help but eventually, I couldn't help but watch and contribute from home, but feel like I wanted to do more. And I'm finally in a place in my life where I could do that. I'm part of a great community. I have a loving family. I have friends who are with me now. So thank you. Thank you for, letting me come out here, letting me help, letting me sit here and play video games in front of people and raise money for an amazing cause. So again, I know everyone's going to be saying it, but truly, genuinely, thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you very much indeed, Hebbings. Okay, if we could get Rizakun up, next then, please. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. There never seems to be enough time to spend with the people you love once you found them. This week has really gone by in a blur. Well, while we're on the subject of first limit breaks or finding limit breaks, my formative experience was in 2016. PJ, thank you, Bob. PJ, Bob, and I were watching the Yokai Watch run from the food room. Let me finish. Let me cook. We were watching the Yokai Watch run from the food room. We had no sound, only visuals. And if you have any familiarity with that game, some really absurd stuff happens. And I think the three of us bonded, and I really found some true friends when we saw Punch Cat punch a van off the road. And I cannot possibly be more grateful for this community. This has been a long, rough year for me. I've spent almost all the time that I've had working, and if I'm not working, I'm recovering from work. And this is the first week in years where I feel like myself. It's like I've woken up, and the power of that community is incredible. Mental illness is, by nature, very isolating. I understand the urge to hide either yourself from the world or the world from you. But really all that does is keep you marinating in your own pain. And I'm not gonna BS you and tell you that getting help and being on the road to improving your mental health is easy. It's not. It's hard work. I've come out of therapy appointments with puffy red eyes, snot running down my nose. It is a lot of work, but it's worth doing that work. Because for me, my life is worth living again. I may not be happy all the time, but I consistently wake up and feel grateful that I'm able to do so. And wherever you are on your mental health journey, I hope you eventually reach that point too. And to end this on a slightly lighter note, go team bread puzzle.
Thank you so much. It was a good. Okay, could we maybe get Freddie up next, please?
Okay, what a year. So I guess I didn't quite come up with the staff one because I wanted to add a bit more to the end of mine, but I'm one that recently joined the staff kind of last minute last year, but was not able to make the event due to both positive and negative things. But before we get into that part, I first of all want to thank everyone who helped on the producing team. I'm the head producer this year. It's a new role that we just started. It's kind of in its infancy, but I think it's something that helped everything run a lot more smoothly this year. So thank you to everyone that was a part of that. It's all staff that you've already seen or will see probably at this point, so I know who they are. But more than that, I want to thank all of our volunteers, both on Twitter and chat, as well as everyone on site with donations, hosts, tech, cleaning, safety. Once again, I'd just like to reiterate how much of a joy it was to work with each and every one of you. And even more on top of that, all of our runners this year were amazing. Being able to see all kinds of different runs, chat with different people, both in-house and all the way in Japan, was just a treat, honestly. I loved it. And I guess on a more personal note, I've been through a bit of an up and down year. So I missed last year. The happy part is I did get married. Wife is in the audience, and she was able to come this year, and being able to share this the RPGLB experience with her has been so special to me personally, and because this is truly has been the event that I look forward to and want to make every single year I can. It fills my cup. It keeps my mental going strong, and I want to thank Limit Break just in general for that as well, but especially my wife for sharing with this and coming with me and enjoying the experience. And I can't thank her enough. So thank you for that. The other thing that happened to me last year is I was diagnosed with cancer. This was something that, fortunately, I'm very lucky that it was a treatable form. Has been treated. We had a bit of a scare at the end of last year, but I think so far I've been deemed cancer-free-ish, I guess we'll say. Always hard to say, of course, but things have been looking positive, and I'm very, very thankful that despite having this, that it was something that was treatable in that form. But it has taken a toll on my mental over the past year. And like I said, coming to this has been such a wonderful experience. So anyway, I won't take up any more of the mic and let someone else talk. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Freddie. Thank you. Could we get Vanny up next, please? Just. Oh. Yep, he's just coming.
Alrighty. Hello, everyone. I'm Vonnie, and I am part of the staff this year. As they mentioned before, I am the host coordinator. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but I kind of just wanted to talk about my involvement with the community, and I wanted to bring this. For those that can't see what it is a American Final Fantasy II card. Now, to me, this is so much more than just a Super Nintendo card. It's so much more than just a video game. It's the reason I'm here. In 2015, our family, my wife and my kids, we moved several hundred miles away from my hometown. And we did it for fantastic reasons, but at the same time, I moved away from, my family, like my parents, a lot of my friends that I grew up with ever since like junior high school, part of my own personal community. And like I said, while the move that we did was positive in a lot of ways, it definitely left a void for me with kind of that part of my own personal community. And again, while I have my wife, who I love very much, and my children, who I absolutely adore, there was still kind of that part of me there was something missing. There was something that was kind of empty for me. But it was right around that time that I started to do speed running of my own, but it wasn't streaming yet. And it wasn't until the beginning of 2017 when the Final Fantasy IV community put together it was a Paladin % tournament. About 100 people participated, and I was one of them. I figured, what the heck? I kind of already knew the run. Why don't I do this? What do I have to lose? Well, I didn't realize I had nothing to lose. I had everything to gain. And what I gained was this community here. A lot of you wonderful folks out here, where I got to participate in this tournament, meet a lot of wonderful people, and I was like, oh, wow, these people are awesome. I'm so glad I did this. And then I started to kind of learn more about Limit Break, found out a lot of people were going. And so kind of on a whim, I think I registered on like the second to last day, and I was like, let me just go for a few days, kind of meet some of these people. I think it'd be fun. And that first Limit Break was in 2017, and I just knew when I came here and got to spend time with these folks that these were my people. This is where I belonged. You all helped me fill that void. You all helped me to find what I was really looking for as, to kind of complete, the whole sense of community. And I knew that I just wanted to get more and more involved. But before I get into the involvement, I want to stress something here, just part of my own personal story. For those of you out there that might be feeling kind of that same void, that same emptiness that I did as far as a community, just know you're not alone. There is always going to be a community out there for you. I just happen to find it in this way as far as how you find. I mean, these are people that are from all over the world, let alone the country. They're out there. I was able to find them and connect with them, and here I am. So for those of you, there's a community out there for you. I want you to, make the outreach, do the research, find people that you can relate to, find people that are the ones that can fill that void for you. They are out there. And like I said, all these people I'm looking at here, they are these people. And getting involved with Limit Break was something I knew from that first trip that I wanted to do. And as time went on, I started hosting runs. I started doing runs myself. And now this year, I became not only part of the staff as the host coordinator, but I was also on the interview team as well. And it really kind of struck me when I found out not too long before it happened that, hey, Vonnie, due to circumstances, we need you to essentially host our pre-show. And at that moment, it just kind of sunk in that these people that I have so much love and appreciation for, in return, showed a lot of trust and a lot of faith in me personally, and I cannot put into words just how much that means to me, just how much it just resonated with me that you put that faith in me to essentially speak for the community, to introduce this absolutely wonderful event that I have a limitless amount of love and respect and admiration for. So I want to say thank you. I want to say I love you. I love every single one of you. And I am already looking forward to RPG Limit Break 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vanny, for that. Okay, could we get RP Priya up, please?
Oh, don't let me on the mic after Vonnie's positive speech. What is this? You sure you don't want to pick someone else? I guess it's just following the list. Yeah. Anyway, I've been in a lot of communities in my life. Church community, yoga community, this community. I've never really... I'm glad Vonnie found a place here, but I can't totally say I feel the same. But I'm trying, and maybe that's really what it is like you kind of just start to work at really reading the social cues, really, I don't know, I actually don't know how to get accepted into a community, but I'm trying. And, I missed a shift this limit break, and I'm just thinking, I still have PTSD from getting fired last year from a job I really loved. And I'm like, oh, this one mistake, they're gonna kick me out. They're never gonna let me volunteer ever again.
Speaking as volunteer coordinator, that's not gonna happen.
Okay. That's good to know. I just had a small panic attack, and that's why I couldn't, come do my job. When I forgot about, the dates, the schedule, the way it shifts, I gotta work my head around it better next year. Why am I crying? just this year's been really hard, and last year was really hard. Ever since COVID, it's just been fucking hard. Sorry. I guess it really does. You know, I think Rizzy was talking about it, like, when you have mental illness, you just want to hide away. And it takes a lot of courage to just even be seen. And I'm losing track of my speech here. I warned everyone in chat. I guess I don't even know what to say. I just remember back in 2009 when I visited London to someone who's I actually share a middle name with her because my mom loves her so dearly. She was almost like my aunt. And we drifted apart because I bought some chocolate and I didn't offer her mom some chocolate. And it's because there's like a cultural difference. Like in England, you gotta like offer people even if they're like, oh, you know, I shouldn't eat chocolate. Well, that's why I kind of didn't offer it personally, but like you should just offer it anyway, apparently. And she got really mad at me for that, and ever since then, our relationship broke up. And ever since then, I've always tried to be aware of people around me and offer, like, hey, you know, do you want to come with to get some lunch or something? And, you know, I went to a run this RPG limit break, and I was hoping to get an invite, but, you know, I would just encourage people to look outside their little group and see, you know, if someone's hanging around hoping to tag along, just let them tag along. It would just mean a lot to them. And honestly, that's the best thing that you can do to support someone's mental health is just include them, even if it's like, you know, they're kind of maybe, I don't even know them. It might be kind of cringe or something. It's like, just be aware, you know, I hung out with Palmer. He's my good friend. He could only come to 2 days this year. But I remember him saying, like, you know, the more the merrier, and, you know, you're a really good pal to hang out with, and, you know, I try really hard to be socially acceptable, and I don't know what more I need to do, but, and I know, and it's just amazing that one thing he said too recently on his Twitter, he's like, he's into stocks, and he's like, none of you are better than me just because you have more money. Never, like, you can't, you know, like, just because you have different abilities from other people doesn't mean you're better than them, or, you know, I think Palmer's like super high up on this pedestal in my mind. Like, he's really achieved a lot. He made his own speedrunning website and stuff, but he still said, you know, you're such a good buddy, and I really mean that. and just makes me feel less useless. I don't know. So, I guess I'm taking up too much time. I think that's basically all I wanted to say, even though I didn't deliver it very well, as usual. It's just nice to be heard and seen, I guess, when most of the year I'm not. So, for, mental health, like, it's my fault. Like Reezy said, you gotta step outside yourself, and even if it's scary, right? And that's the only way to get better, but then also it can just set you back so bad if it goes badly. And, but, just keep on living, I guess. And it's hard every year to come here, and you feel so many highs and lows, or I do anyway. But it's the only way, I gotta face life at some point, It's just hard to see where I'm at, and then all these amazing people who made this event and have these great jobs and friends, and I just wish I had a lot of those things, but anyway, okay, I'm done. Thanks for listening. I don't know if it was any good.
Thank you so much, Priya. Thank you. Okay, if we could have Alex up next, please. Thank you.
One thing first.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm LK47. I'm the donations coordinator now. I want to first give a big thanks to all the donation volunteers. We ended up having enough of you when we were worried we wouldn't. And you all made it pretty easy to coordinate for you by doing your jobs well throughout this whole event. So thank you. You knocked it out of the park. You're part of this. So are all the volunteers. So are the watchers, everyone here. This is a community that we've built through trying to be inclusive. So people who may feel imposter syndrome like I have, or Priya does, are welcome. It's not a matter of whether you feel you are worth this, but that we make sure to show you that you are. That's one of the things that has really been a pillar of my experience in speedrunning in general. Ever since 10 years ago, a little over, I went to Edmonton, Alberta, and was at Crystals for Life. People there just treated me like I was another nerd there to play video games, and that was awesome. Since then, it's been a wonderful, horrible, rocky, smooth, everything in the book kind of ride, and it's all been worth it. Just seeing the effect that we can have on people, entertaining, raising money, and giving a community to people who might not otherwise have it is incredibly rewarding. And I've said this before, and it's why Limit Break has mattered so much to me and helped me get through so many of my own struggles. The one thing I do want to say is that, given that, I guess, my health struggles this past year or so have not been mostly mental. I mean, I don't have cancer or anything, but I have some really persistent health issues that have really taken away from my ability to do a lot of things that I would like to do. I won't get into the details of it, but it feels like, oh great, I'm in my mid-30s and I'm falling apart. So, but a bit more, like to the point where it's impairing my ability to function at times. So having the support structure here is incredibly valuable to me. So NAMI providing that for people who don't otherwise have it, us providing it to the people that we care about, not just in this community, but that we care about in our own personal lives, is incredibly important. Help people feel heard. Help people know that you care. Because when they know that you care, it makes a world of difference. Listen to them, work with them if the things you're doing or saying aren't quite working right. You should be able to find a way. That's really what being a person is all about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alec. Could we now get Kutiru up next, please? Yep.
Give us a moment.
We're just going to do one thing real quick. We are going to go with the next person, and then, yeah, so Bob the Ninja, Bob is next. And then, oh, yeah, we'll just go with that right now, and then we'll come back to me in a little bit. Yeah.
Love you, Bob.
So, first of all, before I get into anything else, I would like to apologize to everybody in the chat because I've deployed my ninja brethren to your homes with onions. Usually in these, over the last couple of years, I have hyped up what's going on, been so glad to be back. I've not talked a lot about what is going on with me. I've been through a lot since 2020, well, since 2018 really, but since 2020 specifically. Sorry, I need a drink. The hosting is rather bad on the throat. Even since 2020, I've gone through so much physically, from having surgery to having multiple surgeries, to various chemical infusions to cure this, that, and the other that I couldn't pronounce if I tried, to chemotherapy, to so much more that really took a toll on me on a mental plane. First of all, to to anyone here in Salt Lake City with us who has done anything to go out of their way to help me this week, when my body has been quite literally shutting down on me at times, I cannot thank you enough. To Poexel and Gamer, I cannot thank you enough for having the faith in me, a person who isn't a speedrunner, who isn't a commentator, who doesn't know anything, doesn't know a RNG on the flow from a manipulating Tuesday-what's-its. And to this day, questions if he even deserves to be part of this community.
Yes, you do. We love you.
But after all of that I went through in 2020, last year I learned something that did more to affect my mental state in one discovery than all of the health problems that had come in the 5 years before. There are times when you think you know someone. Times when someone tells you things and you take them at face value. And then, years later, you learn they were talking out of their arse. Oh, I'm sorry. And it kills you. And it ruins your whole worldview. And it makes you wonder if you've been judging yourself wrong this whole time. It makes you question if someone coming to you with something you've been working towards since 2016 and putting it in the palm of your hand and going, it's yours. It's just as you close your fingers, they're going to whisk it away. Thankfully, that didn't happen. And thankfully, I'm here now. And thankfully, I was able to be trusted, as I said earlier, by Poexel Gamer to take over as volunteer director. And I basically burned the house down and started again. And I hope that my first draft was good enough for you all. But it's not the end of the story. We will continue to improve, and I will continue to improve. And for the last thing, there's a quote that I always think about from a favorite TV show of mine, from a television show called Babylon 5. And it's that there is no greater darkness than the one we fight. It is the darkness of the soul that has lost its way. The war we fight is not against powers and principalities, it is against chaos and despair. And I think everyone who's spoken here tonight is in their own way waging that war. And all I can say is, time to turn on the light.
Thank you very much, Bob. Yep, thank you very much, Bob. And I'm just going to say, I think I'll speak on behalf of most people. We love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we do!
You can't
Okay.
see the Bob hugging that's happening off camera, but rest assured, there's quite a bit of it.
Yes. Well, as I say, Bob, we do love you. Could we maybe get Silver Deeds up next?
Hello, everybody. I'm Silver Deeds. So last year, if you remember me, I came up and volunteered for the first time. It was my first RPG limit break, and I also volunteered for the first time. And my mascot at the time was a Mandragora from Final Fantasy XIV to represent how much of a sprout I was, and that was my mascot for that year. And so this year, I had a mascot for myself, which is still from 14, because it's my favorite game of all time, and it's the Porksy. And if you've played the Beast Tribe quests in the Pixie Tribes, the Porksies are like dream eaters, I guess, from Kingdom Hearts. They give you good dreams and they snort out the bad dreams. Basically, because I decided this year, I had a lot of encouragement last year to expand out and to try hosting. And so I was very, very anxious about doing that. So that's why this was my mascot for this year, so that I would be able to host. And even though I knew I'd be like freaking out about it up to the moment, it still worked out really great. And all y'all were Porksies for me to do awesome for that. Because I know I like seem all cool and energetic right now, but like, you know, for in real life, I'm like super, actually like way super reclusive and introverted, and I think that's probably a lot of people here. But anyway, yeah, so just wanted to let you guys know, yay Porksies. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say, but I love all of you guys. You guys are so great. Yeah, the end.
Thank you so much. Right, we're going to have the SIDS next.
Oh boy, I don't even know what to say. I had something planned that'd be a little bit light, and after all this, I figured I'd change it up and do what I do best, put my foot in my mouth. So I've been coming to Limit Break since the very start, since the dawn of this event, and a lot of people have come and gone, and I'm somehow been one of the few that have managed to remain. And I know what it feels like to have some of those very much dislike our decisions of keeping this event. But I feel what we're hearing on the mic proves that we are right in being here, and that this event, more than the money that we raise, helps the people that attend and that view to gain the strength to put their foot in the door like I did when I had no speed runs to my name and no special skill that would bring me to the event. And they let me in, but I had to put my foot in the door first. So what you need is the effort. You can come and attend, but we are all friends. We are willing to talk to each other, but you have to make the effort. As somebody with autism and ADHD, that effort is hard. I go home and just kind of turn off. And I'm on here. It's hard, but it's fun, and I enjoy it. And I hope that the attendees now and the attendees in the future will take that advice and come and enjoy the event as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sid. Thank you very much. Okay, I guess I'm next.
Love you, Tim.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll try and keep this fairly short, but I just wanted to try and express my thoughts about why I'm here and how much this event means to me. For those who don't know my story, I'll be very quick. I was ill in 2018. I was depressed, and I was off work for 8 weeks. And it was only when I recovered from that I was able to finally realize that there was more to life than just working. There was more to life than just going through everything day to day, just not really taking everything in, you know? And it took me until I was in my 40s to actually start living my life for me. And this event has been a critical part of that. And honestly, it's very difficult to put into words because there's some people here, everybody here is important. Everybody here is amazing. But there are certain individuals who have been so good to me personally and have become very, very good friends. And I honestly feel that I wouldn't be here without their support and their confirmation that I'm worth something. Because one of my major hang-ups as a person is, believe it or not, that I've got a very low self-esteem. And I honestly feel that every time somebody says to me, "Oh, come and speak to me," and it happened during this event, I got a message from Bob saying, "Oh, I need to speak to you." And I immediately turned around and thought, hang on, what have I done wrong? Oh dear, I'm in trouble. He's going to shout at me. And the last thing you want to do is get on Bob's bad side, believe me. So I really do have that. I would hesitate to call it a flaw. I would say it was a character trait. And like all character traits, you end up having to learn to live with it and to get the best out of it. And one of the things that I feel that I've done over the past few years since I was ill is to try and be more positive, to try and believe in myself that little bit more. And that isn't easy. And believe me, it's not easy. And most people here will realize and know that it's not easy. But you can do it. You honestly can do it. You can believe in yourself. You can take that little bit, yes, I'm worth it. Yes, I'm important. Yes, I am an important person, not just to myself, because that's something that I sometimes struggle with, is I think, well, nobody cares about me. Nobody likes me. Nobody worries about me. And that just isn't true. I've got so many friends in this room, in the speedrunning community at large, that I would like to think do have some feeling for me, and that they believe in me, and they want to see me be the best that I can be. And honestly, yes, I'm kind of running out of words now. But thank you so much to this community and to everybody. I'm getting a bit emotional now. I really appreciate everything. It really means a lot to me. So thank you so much indeed, everyone. Thank you, and thank you, everyone.
Before we go on, Tim, since Chet is yelling at me, I want to state I didn't yell at Tim. I needed to ask him to take over an interview. Okay?
Yes, I wasn't trying to cast aspersions at Bob at all. He would never shout at me. But no, sometimes you do, and I'd like to think that I'm not the only person that feels like that sometimes. When somebody says to you, oh yes, we need to speak to you. And I'm always seeing the negative, and I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. Yeah, I'm seeing some hands, yeah. Thank you so much. Again, that means a lot to me, because it makes me feel that I am not alone in that. But anyway, enough about me. Let's move on to 30 cents, please.
Hello, I'm 30 cents, but I go by 30 primarily. I have been watching RBG Limit Break since 2016. I was caught the Chrono Cross run, I believe, was that year. I was immediately attached to it. So for my experiences, I was originally from Ohio. I live in Texas now. I like it there a lot. I came from a very abusive family. My mom and dad were very bad parents to me. And my mom was emotionally and physically abusive to me, and my dad was an angry drunk. And it was a very, very hard time when I stayed with them. I remember 7 years of stuff that I remembered when I was growing up as a kid in Ohio. In 2011, I moved to Austin, Texas. That's where I currently reside. I live with my grandparents. I've thought of my grandparents as my parents ever since then. In 2012, I was diagnosed with PTSD because of all the trauma that I suffered through living with my parents, and it was very hard. I got therapy when I was 12 years old, but it was still very hard for me. I was still my brain was not good at all. I had dramatic reactions at school, and it was not fun when I was in middle school, high school. It was very hard. In 2014, my dad, I already mentioned he was an angry drunk. Well, he unfortunately died from his mental illness as an alcoholic in May of 2014. It was a very big shock to me. Mental illness basically took his life away from him. Considering that he got into alcoholism at a very young age, and I never really got to know the real him. at all. You know, when he was growing up as a kid, it was very sad to me that I never got to know who he really was. I graduated high school in 2017, but I got into the RBG speedrunning community in like late 2016. But I really started getting into it in 2017 because I didn't really have school at the time. I couldn't really afford to go to college at that time. I didn't have a job back then. I got my first job in 2018. I worked at a movie theater, but I was going through a lot of suicidal thoughts at the time. I attempted it multiple times because I just couldn't stand my PTSD. It was very, very painful to deal with, and I still have like bits and pieces of it that I still have reminiscence of to this day. But it was hard for me and through all those years. And when I was growing up, the worst part is that no one even really believed about the abuse that I was going through. And it was very traumatic for me that I later thought of in 2019, that because I thought that the world just absolutely hated me, and that wasn't necessarily true. I was going to attend Limit Break in 2019, but I couldn't go. Limit Break staff, they've been very awesome to me. I got an email from someone, I'm not going to share who it was, but me getting that email, it really opened my eyes up. And it was hard to read at first, I'll admit, but it really opened my eyes. And then I got into Knights of the Old Republic speedrunning community, and I found a speedrunning community that I absolutely loved, and that was the game that really got me into Limit Break last year. I didn't run anything this year, but I got into it last year. I didn't submit anything this year for a couple of reasons. I wanted to hang out with all the friends I made and met in person last year. And I also wanted to give other people a chance to submit as well, which there was a lot of very good games this year. I think every game submitted this year was awesome. This Limit Break was just fantastic overall. I really, really liked it. Coronavirus obviously hit in 2020, and my mental health just started to deteriorate a bit, but despite all that, I got therapy, I got therapeutic help, and that really changed my life. I think without that email, I don't think I would have really changed my life a lot. And it really helped me. So the person who sent that email, they know who they are. Thank you a lot. It really means a lot to me. And that really opened my eyes up. Despite all the things that happened to me, I no longer have communication with my mother because she's just not a very good influence in my life, and it really puts a strain on my grandparents' relationship as well. But between me and my grandparents' relationship, because it brings me trauma every single time I talk to her, and I no longer want to speak to her again. But despite all that, there's a lot of very good things that happened to me over the past couple years. I didn't actually start driving until I was 22 years old, and I got my license in 2021. And in 2022, I was still working a job. I kept my job maintained for 2 years. It was a very stressful job, though. I worked at a restaurant, as a dishwasher. And that was very, very hard and stressful. And my mental health has been a lot better ever since then. Like, anyone who tells you that therapy doesn't help is absolutely foolish. And therapy has helped me. So even if you don't think there's things to look forward to in life, I don't think that's correct at all. Because there's a lot of things to look forward to in life. Like, I'm just very glad I'm still here and my suicide attempts were unsuccessful. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here with y'all. And would have made my grandparents very sad if that were to happen, but I'm super glad it didn't. I'm no longer feeling that way now. And the past year has been very good for me. I got to actually meet my favorite band of all time, which I'm wearing right now, Rhapsody of Fire. That was like one of the best days of my entire life, and I thank them a lot for having the opportunity for me to meet them. So if you're like contemplating any self-harm, I would please suggest for you to please go get help. There are so many things in life to look forward to, and there are so many people out there that are there to support you. My advice, get rid of the negative people in your life, and please just see people that actually do care for you. And I really thank, Kodor community for welcoming me in their community and being super supportive. And again, I thank my favorite band of all time, Rhapsody of Fire, for really opening my eyes and looking for more things in the future. You guys are freaking awesome, and thank you so much.
It looks like it's me. I wanted to say, first off, before I say anything, I want to say thank you to everybody. I wanted to thank you all for having the strength to be up here and to talk, because I know how hard it is, because I'm going to start doing it, but I just wanted to say thank you all to everyone here as well as the staff. I'm not going to try to go into too many details, but so my life story is a very, very sad story. I know that I have endured a lot of abuse in my life, whether it's sexual, physical, verbal. It all happened to me as a kid from the ages of 5 to 14. And it was different people. I lived in a household where we were really poor. And my mom was a single mom taking care of 3. And losing my father at the age of 3, she had a very hard time basically functioning, if that's the best way to put it. But as time goes on and I grow up, and I've learned to basically, I have my self-defenses, I had my ways of living with what's been done. It becomes a part of you that you never forget. And I don't want to go into the details because they're very graphic, but I do remember all of it, or a lot of it at least. But my whole point out of this was finding the strength, finding the love. I've been searching for so long. I've been searching for so long for good people, to people to care about me, just about me and not use me for whatever reason. But my life, between deaths from family members, the abuse, or even health problems I've had. And I know last year I spoke and I was honest about some of those health problems, and my diagnosis of BPD. But this year alone, I went through another traumatic experience back in January. And my mental health between that point in time to now, and going through what my family's going through with my mom and what she's enduring at the moment and her health problems, even though life can be really, really hard and really, really sad, the one thing I want to say is that always remember that there are actual kind-hearted people out there, and that is coming from someone who understands pain very well. And if it wasn't for the speedrunning community, or even just gaming in general, or even friends in my life, or even people who truly care for you will show their true colors. And people do believe in you. They believe in you to fight that darkness, to survive, maybe become a warrior, no longer be a victim. But what I will say is there's always love, and it's always there to help you be guided, and that is the light to be guided by. And I just want to say thank you to RPG Limit Break as well as NAMI. Mental health is so important. It really is something that you have to take care of. It's like you have to, anything else in life, you just have to continue to work on it no matter how hard it gets and how dark it gets. Because no matter what, fighting and surviving is really worth living this life for, living that love that is surrounded by you and love that you can give to people. So I just want to say thank you to RPG Limit Break, because if it wasn't this year was really hard, just to many reasons of losing friends or being heartbroken for many reasons because of everything I'm going through. If it wasn't for people like the staff members, or even just some of the attendees here, just new friends that I've made, or even old friends that I've seen, I just want to say thank you, because you are really helping me find myself again. And that is super, super important to me, but also NAMI and the cause and everything like that, and mental health and going to therapy is very, it is what's saving my life, as well as people like my husband with all of his conditional love, unconditional love. It's those things remind me every day that those, I don't want to say demons, but those dark shadows that loom over, they will go away. And just always remember that there are people that do care about you, and a lot of them are here. And that's just me, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Cutie, for that. Thank you so much indeed. With that, that's the end of the testimonial section. But before we go...
I thought I put my name on the paper.
It's not on, but come on up, Ghost.
I put my name on the wrong paper then.
It's definitely not on, but there you go. The floor is yours.
I'm taking a look at this.
Feel free.
I looked at the wrong man.
There's always one,
I did-
isn't there?
I thought I looked. I thought there was a paper at the desk. I thought that was it. My mistake. Anyways. Hi everyone, I am Ghost-Kumo. I'm going to keep this fairly short, but I just wanted to profess my sincerest thanks to so many of the people here at RPG Limit Break. For the very briefest of my own personal backstory and where I got into this, I lost both of my parents about a decade ago, not far from one another, and I was in a house at that time with some people that were tough to live with. Kind of left me as a very reclusive person. And after about 6 months, I finally had to take that first step out of my house because I was basically going to college and then coming back home and just staying at home. Now, in that time, I discovered the speedrunning community. I hadn't yet become a member, but I did take the first step to finding my people. I did have a couple of really good friends that I'm still good friends with today, but I ended up going to a club at college and met a couple more friends who I still consider some of my closest friends to this day. And in the coming years, going to college before transitioning from junior college to university, I remember in 2015, looking at my phone and just seeing RPG Limit Break, his very first event, speedrunning some games that, because I hadn't seen them at like GDQ, I was surprised people even speedran them at all. And I just was like, I want to go to this event. These people like the same kind of games that I've always enjoyed growing up, that I've not always been able to find people who are interested in. Some of those friends that I've mentioned, I have kind of had to force them into becoming fans of. But yeah. And then in 2016, I submitted my first game. Somehow got into RPG Limit Break, despite having a fairly last-minute submission. And the first marathon I went to was not actually Limit Break, but there were a few Limit Break attendees. There was sort of a hybrid event in Northern California, and I was kind of a wreck. I am not the most sociable of people. Have a bit of a stuttering problem. I have always struggled with making new friends myself, but people there accepted me anyways. And by the time I came to the next event at RPG Limit Break 2016, I started to feel like I was at home. And I've been coming to Limit Break every year since then. It's been about a quarter of my life at this point. And one of the things that was different with this year, I felt, was at this point, I largely know probably half of the people who come to RPG Limit Break at this point because I've talked with them, I've seen them through their streams. I looked probably a little too much at the game submission page for several people, and always just love to reach out to people and just learn of their passion for speedrunning things. And this year, I got here a little late on Saturday, and there was like a semicircle of people, mostly staff that I already knew, and I just sat down, and it felt like continuing something, continuing where we left off. And that's kind of how it's been with Limit Break, but especially this year of just some of my closest friends here, some people who I talk to every day, Tiny Tim here, Stoltenheim over there, some people that I consider very close personal friends. I'm honored and privileged that I can call them my friends, that they accept me for who I am. And every Limit Break, it feels like I meet a couple new people, and I feel like, we're all just one big collection of kindred spirits, one big group of friends, even like a family in some ways. In fact, I helped out a friend earlier this month who was going through some really hard, or earlier this year, who was going through some really hard times, and helped his family get back on their feet. And some of his family came up and said something along the lines of like, as family to my friend, we are so grateful for the family out there in the world, being the speedrunning community, who have come to support them. And it really is like a family in a lot of ways. People who support each other, people who, care for you, who want you to succeed, who go out of their way to do things for you that you sometimes, in life, you feel like there's not anyone out there who would, be that shoulder to lean on sometimes. So But just thank you all, everyone who attended, everyone who's donated. Thank you all so much for watching. NAMI is a very personal cause to me as somebody who has had various different bouts with, mental health issues. And yeah, thank you to, I guess, Limit Break in general for just being this wonderful force in my life that I am honored and privileged to be able to attend every year, be able to participate in every year, and be able to help out now. So, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for that, Ghost, and thank you to everyone for your stories. Very, very, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to hand back over to our interview team.
I don't know how to follow that up, I'm going to be honest. Limit Break always means so much to me and to so many people. Hi, GK, he's waving at me over behind the camera. So, again, all these stories, everybody that's so brave and sharing themselves, again, thank you all so much. This is why we do Limit Break. It's why Limit Break is what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's just the best way to put it. NAMI is an incredible cause. We're very happy to have raised $78,350, almost $1 million across all of our events for NAMI. It truly is a pleasure and a joy. And I'm sure the rest of the staff agree. We can't thank all of you enough for being here, sticking around, and everything else. So I believe with that, there's only one thing left to do.
Yeah.
Bob, there's only one person that can possibly end this event.
Of course.
It's time for a raid. Oh, that giggle just makes me actually. All right, so we are going to be raiding one of last year's runners, Swanee Wrath 11. But what we are going to do before we do is say this. I'm going to sign off as I always do by saying, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and all those beyond that spectrum, in the immortal words of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, be excellent to each other. And party on, my friends, and we'll see you in 2024.